Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of Cheap Shot Culture, where we will be reviewing Money in the Bank with myself, Phil Taylor, and Mr. Bob Ricks. How are we, Mr. Ricks?
Sweating something off. Oh my
it's
God.
Not, it's not a child-friendly podcast, so you can say shit in it.
Honest to God. Like, you know what? I'm not going to complain because I'm not. You know what? I am. Because I don't care when it rains. I can deal with it raining. But I can't deal with this heat.
I'd kill for some rain right now. I'd literally stand outside in it as well.
Honestly, I've been getting in, but my feet in a paddling pool at like 10:30 at night because I know how cold it's going to be. It's just not. I know. It's a different heat. However, like I did say to you, we have to count ourselves lucky. You know, we have got this weather, and it is fantastic. You can actually go and do a bit more because nobody really wants to go out to like a park or stuff when it's absolutely lashing it down. So we are lucky, and especially when you sort of look up across into other parts of Europe with the floods and stuff that's happening in Germany. So we have to count ourselves lucky, and I hope anyone it sorts itself out. But we have to count ourselves lucky. But Jesus Christ, I'm so hot right now.
So to summarise, Bob doesn't like the sun and he's hot.
And if you see a massive smile, like if I'm like this, and then you see a smile, it's because a lovely breeze has come through that window.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Right then. So apparently Bob mentioned before we started recording, we usually have like a little chat before we get going, that we made predictions for Money in the Bank. I don't remember. If you guys can remember, then we'd really much appreciate it if you put our predictions in the comments so we can know whether we were right or not. I'll tell you what I did predict right, though, that the cash-in would be on Charlotte, but we'll go into that later on.
Yeah.
Cool. So just a quick overall, what did you think of it? First pay-per-view back with fans since Mania?
Honestly, it's been the three best wrestling shows I've seen for a long time. SmackDown, Money in the Bank, and Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. It just goes to show how much more of better it is when there's fans around.
And honestly, I think SummerSlam's going to be even better.
I'm looking forward to SummerSlam.
I think they're going to go all out for it.
SummerSlam. It's going to be a good show. It really is. Some cracking matches on there. So it's definitely something to look forward to. I think I'm working that weekend though, so I need to try and work something out. You're not?
I'm on hot. No, sure. Is it August the 14th? Is it the 21st? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, why did you drop that bombshell on me? I thought it was the weekend before.
Nope.
Oh, why would you do that?
Because if I'm working, you're working.
I know. Let me check the list of shit. I feel like a 21st.
21st.
It says I'm off. Oh, yeah. You know why I'm off? Because I'm on holiday. Wonderful.
Yeah.
However, I am in work on the 22nd. So.
Right. Okay. Cool. So, as always, it starts off with the pre-show. And that was the tag match, wasn't it? It was the Usos versus the Mysterio, shall we call them?
Yeah. So Usos coming out on top, new SmackDown tag champs. Yeah. So my first thought, or my first question for yourself would be: obviously there was two tag titles, Raws and SmackDowns, both defended on the pay-per-view. They were quick to move the SmackDown women's to SmackDown on the Friday, and they were quickly to move the SmackDown tags to the kickoff. What's your thought? Because like for me, SmackDown's being the better show, so it's a bit of disrespect to both the women's title and the kickoff show for the tag titles, and that they would move them and potentially not look at AJ and the Viking Raiders, because surely Usos and Mysterio have a better storyline to hit on the main show.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
All titles should be defended on the main show. 1,000,000%. You just devaluing the title if you do it on the kickoff show.
Obviously, very rare that on a pay-per-view as well that there's no. If you take, I'm going to take the Money in the Bank out of the question because for me they're like titles, like the briefcases. But there was no just like one-on-one. If you get me, there wasn't just a random there wasn't just a random match. Where like normally you'll see like just a one-on-one, no titles on the line, like an Elias versus Jackson Riker. There was none of that, so I get why they'd have to move something to the kickoff show.
Yeah. Well, just put another match together. Don't put your tag titles on there. Odd. But sometimes, sorry to interrupt. Sometimes title matches on the pre-show are actually pretty decent. Because I remember watching the Cruiserweight title on not Mania. It was one of the big anyway. One of the big four anyway. I think it was, and it was an awesome match. That if it was on the main show, everybody'd be raving about it. So sometimes I get it, but no, it should always be your titles on the main. So,
just what I mean is, I think it's just a bit of a disrespect to SmackDown. Yeah, because if you go through the list, there's only technically
still putting Raw at the top. It's still Raw is the be all and end all, which we all know as of late, it just isn't. So, but it's their flagship show, I suppose, isn't it? So I guess that makes sense.
But anyway, Usos picked up the win.
They did.
New tag champs. What's your thoughts? Because I know there's a lot of controversy because of, again, every single video. I don't know who they are and which one's which, but one of the Usos, I couldn't tell you who it is, was obviously arrested again. And there just seemed to be no punishment, and they've now put a title on him. What's your thoughts on it? Because I'm probably not a controversial view on it, but what's your view on it?
I don't agree with it. It's a suspension for him, I think. It's like is it the second or third time now with him?
Something like that.
Let's put it this way: if it was Jeff Hardy, then he'd lose to a squash match or something like that. It would go against him. But then at the same time, the storyline is that strong with Reigns that it involves the Usos. Can you really afford to do that at the moment? Would it take away? I don't know. It's a bit of both for me, I think.
Okay. Well, that's my view. That last bit, and don't get me wrong, what he's done is awful, and I know it's nothing like horrendously major, and he's not injured anyone or hurt anyone by doing what he did. But obviously, it's a PG show. Kids watch it. Kids, will look up to him. So I get all of that.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you take him out or the Usos out for a week or two while he's suspended for however long, then potentially the storyline with Reigns just depletes. And and do they need to sacrifice it? Will we see the Usos just go in like a week or two? Maybe someone takes the tag belts off them, and then that's it. So
maybe
we're looking at this now as a small picture. Maybe in the bigger picture, they have got a punishment there for him. We never know.
You never know. I think the saddest thing to come from it, which is why you talked about the drink driving thing, is that Naomi's had to come off Twitter for it.
Yeah,
because of all the hate that she's getting. There's no need for stuff like that. I mean, it's not her fault.
And it's getting beyond the joke now. Like, I get people have views, and don't get me wrong, I know this is a wrestling show and we're talking about it, but as people would know, we also talk about football, and we talked about we've not got onto how the Euros ended and stuff, but 2 weeks ago, a week before the final, Sterling was the best thing since like bled.
Yeah.
Rashford was the king of England, and
Yeah.
then they missed the penalty, and they got the hatred that
Yeah.
they should never do. And then, even on the weekend with Sir Lewis Hamilton, again wins a race and still gets abuse online. It's stupid.
It's the world we live in, unfortunately.
Yes,
it needs to change.
Have your views on it. We could sit here and go, Rashford should have hit the target. Yeah, it's a good idea to go low, but you know what? Do win the best penalties. End of.
Yeah.
Was Hamilton to blame for the crash? I don't think he was. Some people say it. You can have your view. One of these shows shouldn't have done what he did. No need to, one, attack his wife, and two, bring a racial slur into account as well. It's just pathetic.
It is. A little bit of a tangent there, so we'll bring it back to the pay-per-view. The match itself, I hadn't actually seen that one, so I can't comment whether it was a good match or not.
You're always going to get a good match out of the Usos and the Mysterios.
Yeah,
I think Dominic has grew very well into his back, through his time in WWE. I think he's getting better. Would I like to see him move a little bit away from his dad, possibly?
Yeah.
Make his own stuff, but you know what? Who better to learn off than one of the greatest of all time?
Which, according to Kenny, he is the greatest of all time.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone's got their views.
Everybody's got their views. Whether he's taking the piss or not, mate, I don't know. You know what he's like. But there you go, anyway. So the next match then was
the Women's Money in the Bank.
Now, I enjoyed this match, and I'm not disappointed with the outcome, but I do find, I don't know if it's just me, that they can do one-on-ones, they can do tag, they can do triple threat. They can do the women can do those matches amazing. I always find when there's a big group of them, especially like the Battle Royals or it's like Money in the Bank, it can get a little bit botchy at times. And I think it spoils it for them because they're so much better than that. It just takes that bit of a shine off what was an actually really good match. Were you happy that Nikki won?
Yeah, but no. At the same time, out of them all, I probably would have just said probably Liv Morgan, just because I think she deserves a little bit more. And I know it's a shock that I didn't say Alexa Bliss because I think she's my favourite women's wrestler at the moment for more reasons than one. But I think, you know what? As long as Natalya or Tamina didn't win, I'm all right. I'm sorry to do that to you, Phil, but I couldn't. I just don't see them.
I didn't want Natalya to win.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse than Natalya as a champ. Heel champ, maybe.
Yeah.
But face, nah.
No, but you know what? Nikki ASF now, or ASH, whatever it is.
Almost superhero.
Nikki Cross, let's keep it as that. Yeah. She deserves it.
Yeah.
She was fantastic with Sanity. Lost a little bit of a way when she first come up. Did really well with Bliss.
Enjoyed the stuff with Bliss. Yeah.
Yeah, seemed to just fall off the rails slightly.
Yeah.
And what I've heard backstage, well, not me backstage, but what I've heard from people over Twitter and stuff from the backstage areas and stuff, saying how she's never moaned, grumbled once about the position she's in. And this is sort of a thing of saying, like, well done and thank you, deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully she keeps it for a bit. I'd like to see it being a bit of a meaningful run. But yeah, as I say, overall, I enjoyed the match. Some really good spots. I think the ladder stuff with Alexa, like keeping her down under all the ladders. I thought that was good. I thought Alexa, to be fair, throughout the match was probably the better performer. She's just so good. But yeah, as I say, there was a couple of little botches. I think the one that stands out more was Natalya, Zelina, and somebody else that was on the ladder. And it was just like they just fell off, and it was a bit like, oh, come on. And I think there was Nikki Cross jumped from the top of the ladder that was outside the ring and did the crossbody. I missed Zelina Vega completely, who went down like a sack of shit. I was like, please stop doing that. Please stop it. There's no need.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't think we can talk
about these things happen.
Yeah. But I don't think we can talk about the match and not think about the finish. I don't think the finish worked.
It's finished, no. I get it. I just don't think it was played out quite as good as it should have been.
Yeah, it made for me the other women look a little bit silly.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, well done to Nikki Cross for winning the match, and then we'll surely touch upon a cash-in after that. Yeah. The next match we had was for the Raw Tag titles. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see it, so let's make this quick. AJ and Omos won.
Do you know, I have seen it. Because we've spoke about it before. I like Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
And I like AJ, of course.
One of the best.
Not sure on Omos, however else you want to say it. I'm just not into it at all. I can't. The guy does not sell, or he can't sell. Now, whether that's part of his gimmick or whatever, but I just think he's a worse seller than Great Khali.
No, but I think there's got to be something to be said about like big guys like Khali and Omos. Is if let's just pick, I don't know, let's say he face the Mysterios next week. Just say for whatever reason they get drafted over and Ray's facing Omos. Do you really want Ray to be kicking Omos and holding his leg like he's been hit by a truck by getting hit by like a 4-foot man? It's not going to look. It's just not going to work. If he came face to face with, obviously I know he's buggered off to AEW, but if he came face to face with like a Big Show, I'd expect him to sell it because it's a big guy versus a big guy.
Well, even then, I don't think he could sell it. I think when he's been needed to sell, he's not convinced me. There's still that greenness about him, I think. But as I said to you again before we started recording, little spoiler for the Kevin Nash Broken Skull session. If you've not seen it, they talk about his Nash's time at the PC, and they mention Ben Amos, and and they both agree that he's money. So who knows?
Vince loves a big, strong Muslim man.
He does. So. We shall see. But yeah, it was a decent tag match. I enjoyed it.
Okay. The next match, I'm going down the way it was broadcasted, and I want to ask you about this. So the fourth match in the whole pay-per-view, and right in the middle, Lashley versus Kofi for the WWE Championship. The main title was bang in the middle of the show.
Yep.
Obviously, Lashley won. Not shocked, but Lashley won. What's your thoughts about one, the match, or two, why it was, or that being in the middle of the show?
I thought the match was okay. It did what it was supposed to do. It made Lashley look strong.
Yeah.
It's a WWE title. It's the biggest title in wrestling. You can say what you like, AEW this and New Japan that and Impact this and Ring of Honor that. The WWE title is the title in wrestling, and it's slap bang in the middle of a pay-per-view. And I'm like, no.
So I wouldn't want that to go on last for two reasons. One, because we know how the pay-per-view closed, and if that ending of that match happened second to last, the fans would have been gone. They would have lost it. The fans wouldn't have been interested in the WWE title match. I get it. I get why Reigns and Edge was on last. I get it, 100%. It makes sense. There's a proper rivalry, the probably bigger storyline. I get that, but do you sandwich the Money in the Bank in between?
Start the show with it then. Start the show with a WWE title.
They did it at Mania.
They did. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
But again, Lashley, good big guy, does his job well. MVP's amazing, and you can still never take anything away from Kofi and Woods because they are so good.
Yeah,
so
they
good.
are.
Next match then.
Yeah.
Was for the Raw Women's Championship. We had the champion Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, and unfortunately Charlotte Flair went on to win. And you can probably guess what my thoughts on it. I don't like the fact that she keeps winning the title.
So what's she on 14 now?
Yeah. And you know what? She's boss. Don't get me wrong. She is great wrestler.
Yeah.
Great on the mic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. However, when you go through the list of women who don't get looking for a title, and I know there's more to it than what we're probably seeing, but Bliss hasn't had a title shot for how long? You've got obviously Carmella's finally getting a chance, but let's be honest, if Bayley wasn't injured, would she be up there getting it? No. If Morgan's not had one, let's bring her up because I know Natalia. You can go through the Oscar, even before it, Kairi Sane, all these great women's wrestlers that have been and gone or are still there who don't get a look in, yet she does.
Probably because of the reasons that you said before you went into your little rant. She's the best.
No, she is fantastic.
I don't think it's anything to do with Flair's daughter. I think it's just an unfortunate coincidence for her that she is his daughter. But that doesn't take away from the fact that she's the best at what she does in that company. Maybe further afield. What bothers me about it is I don't really think that any of the title runs that she's had have been meaningful. There's probably going to be some of the early ones, maybe where she had a bit of a decent run with it.
Because she went through that time where Sasha were just back and forth.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
You know what? There's only, I'm going to say, it's a bold statement to make, but I think there's only been two really, really meaningful runs with with any women's title since they brought the as a women's title back. And I'm probably going to get it wrong because it'd be more than I'm probably thinking, but I'm going to say Bayley's, the most recent one, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Becky when she had the two of them.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Alexa had a decent run, and I think that the feud with Nia was good.
Yeah, but then it started getting silly again with the name call and the bullying. They went down that horrible, awful route again. And I just, in terms of pure, just great wrestling, great storytelling, great mic work. Bayley's fantastic at it. Becky is probably the best at it. I would say more just how she can just connect. People were chatting for her name at Money in the Bank, and she's not been around for how long. So, about a year now, because she went off just the Raw after Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Last year. So it'd be a year now that she's not been around. So for the fans to still be chatting her name, and I know there was speculation, and no, she was apparently there, but people have to realise she's also married to Seth Rollins. So, Undertaker was there. He wasn't going to be coming out and climbing the ladder to win the Money in the Bank. People go and visit. She is his wife now because he got married a few weeks back. They are actually married, so of course she's going to be there if she could be.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know what?
Back to the match itself.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for Rhea Ripley because I think I really like Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she's good. She's good.
She is good. I'm hoping though that potentially she might move to SmackDown and maybe have a feud with Toni Storm, who's debuting on Friday.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, fantastic for them. However, I don't know. It's just the fact that Flair goes and wins it and then loses it the next night.
Yes. Now, I did say that Nikki Cross would go after Charlotte, and I was right. And I did say that she should have a bit of a run with it before she drops it. It didn't happen.
Nope.
So for those that you don't know, I mean, you probably do that by now. So, yeah, she cashed in, and 14th title reign lasted a day.
Yeah.
And that annoyed me.
That's the problem. That's my biggest problem. And I get that potentially don't want Rhea Ripley in a feud with Nikki. Potentially that now moves Rhea on to someone else.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not a case of Nikki wins it, great. Yeah, Charlotte now wins it back next week. But then they're obviously building this. They've got Flair and Cena. They're obviously building this standout women's champion. So you're going to put they need title runs. It should have lasted longer than a day, though. But there you go. Here's what it is. It's done. Yeah.
Next.
Next was the men's Money in the Bank. Now, if I was a star-given man, like a Dave Meltzer, if I give Bob Rick stars out, I would probably...
We need to make this a thing. We need to make this a thing, so we need to come up with a scoring system for you. So you can't have the stars. Can't have stars, because Uncle Dave has the stars.
Bob Rick's thumbs up. We'll have thumbs up for now, but if anybody's got any other suggestions,
2, 3, 4, 5 thumbs
them
up
in the comment. I would give this match a 4.5 thumbs up.
Okay.
I don't think it was like a 5.
What stopped it from being
absolutely.
5?
More spots. I love a ladder match with just pure carnage.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna take, and I don't know he did his bit. I don't know. We'll touch up on a little bit about him in a minute. Take Drew McIntyre at that match and throw in Sami Zayn. Would be one of the best ladder matches we'd ever see.
Okay, that's a big call.
He's so good. Him and Kevin Owens genuinely do not care what they do to themselves, because we've seen it before in other ladder matches. Getting thrown on your back onto a side of a ladder, and I know people might say the ladders are not made out of steel, but still, that ain't me just looking at it.
Yeah.
But overall, what a match!
Great match and a great
Ricochet
outcome.
Looked amazing. Yeah, great outcome. Ricochet looked amazing.
Ricochet, what a guy! He's so good. They need to whack a title on him soon, I think.
Where do you rank him with other high flyers? Not like now as well, but like in history, in terms of what he does in that ring. Is he up there?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, I'd say so.
He is. He's not.
He's not a Mysterio.
He's not a Mysterio, but it doesn't mean to say he won't be.
No. I don't see the totally different high flyers. I'm not going to expect to see Mysterio jump from a ladder onto the rope and do a flip. That's not his way. It is not his style. But yeah, he's top. Riddle, cracking facial expressions through John Morrison. John Morrison looked strong.
Yeah.
He made him look good. Seth Rollins always going to get a good story out of him.
Yeah.
And then Jinder and his goons.
I'm looking forward to that feud.
Yeah.
It's glad to see. I'm glad to see Jinder back in the mix and doing well.
Just because we've never mentioned this before, thoughts on Jinder and maybe one's title run?
Amazing title run. He's an awesome champion heel. Awesome.
And what did you say? One of the best heel champions ever?
Yeah, I genuinely mean that.
I just want you to say that on YouTube, to be fair.
I hated that bastard when he had that belt. Hated him.
Yeah.
It worked. He did his job. He was brilliant. I couldn't fault it. I'd like to see it again. But it will be a good feud with them too. So where does Big E go?
I think he's going to go to Raw. I think they'll throw the tag title once he cashes in, and I do think he'll win and win the title. I think not long after that, or maybe even on the same pay-per-view or whatever, I think the New Day go and win the tag titles, and the three of them will be champions again. I think, and I'm basing this on one thing only: merch.
Yeah.
New Day was one of the biggest selling merch guys I could probably think of. You know, I bought some stuff of theirs. 26 years old buying New Day merch.
Day.
And now I'm 27 and buying Edge merch. But yeah, I just think they'll put the three titles on them and make them go for a bit of a run. But yeah, ending was fantastic. Big ending off the ladder. That's what I mean about I love spots in a ladder match, and that's where the women.
Yeah, it was a good finish. It was a good finish.
Yeah, but fantastic.
Yeah,
really happy for him.
Made up for Big E. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can also see him going after Lashley. You'll know by now that Goldberg returns on Raw and declares himself next for Lashley. I don't see a Goldberg going over.
I hope not.
No. Or if he does manage to, then that's when Big E cashes in. It will be the WWE title he goes for. That's the one I want him to have because it means the most. And I think he deserves it. So
you say that. You say it means the most, and I know you said this to me yesterday. But Universal title match goes on last.
Yeah.
It closed Mania. It closed Money in the Bank. And I will put money on it closing SummerSlam.
Not a chance.
Does the Universal title now start meaning more? Do they look at the Universal Championship more than the WWE?
No. It will never mean more than a WWE title.
No, I don't mean does it. I mean, do the company look at it more?
No. I've refused. If that is actually true, and they do look at it, I refuse to believe it. No, it's the WWE title is the title. Nobody grew up wanting to be Universal Champion.
Well, you never know. No, but what I mean is, you know, you look at the feud, and I'm not taking anything away from Goldberg, but are they really going to close SummerSlam with Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley, or close it with, spoiler alert, oh no, it won't be a spoiler alert because I can't see him, so someone versus Roman Reigns?
If there's going to be a cash-in, then I can see Lashley and Goldberg being the last on the card for SummerSlam. But that'll be the only reason. I get what you're saying, and you can't deny that Reigns has put massive credibility on that belt. but to me, it will always be. It's the World Heavyweight Championship. It's the second belt. It will never. It will never place importance above a WWE title, in my opinion. I mean, if it does, that's down to them, innit?
No, I know what you mean. I'm just trying to, you go through some of the other matches, and mate, I just feel like, and it's probably more because of probably the storylines, but it closed Mania, it closed WrestleMania Backlash. It didn't close Hell in a Cell, but the only reason why it didn't close Hell in a Cell is because it wasn't defended on Hell in a Cell, because he did it on SmackDown the night before in a Hell in a Cell match. It was him versus Reigns versus Ray, and then it goes and closes Money in the Bank. And it's probably, and I'm adamant, it will close SummerSlam. And I don't think it's the title, it's the storyline that'll do it. But you've got 4 pay-per-views, and out of the ones that have been defended, 3 of them so far, when the title's on the line, is closing the show.
Okay.
That's just my fault. I'm not saying the title means more. It's just the storylines mean more. They put more effort into the storyline.
Perhaps, maybe for that reason, to give the Universal title a bit more, which you can't deny. It certainly does. The match itself,
really good, great storytelling. Just a whole storytelling piece. Even the standard referee getting knocked down by the smallest hit, you don't even hear a groan in the fans. The fans were all for it.
Yeah.
They knew something was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was expecting more. You know what? Because these shows come out, I think, as well. But I'm trying to remember. I think these shows come out. But yeah, little Nate goes down, and yeah, you're hooked, instantly hooked when anything like that happens. Great storytelling. Reigns was on his way to tap out again. Obviously, no referee, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. And then naughty Seth Rollins come out.
He did.
Kicked Edge in the head, so instantly hate him. And obviously that's going to set up their feud for SummerSlam. Obviously, and again, what a feud that will be, and it'll be one hell of a match. But then after that, you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, that nothing's worked. Edge is probably, he could go on and still win this because they both recovered from the kick. Edge comes back, nearly pins him with a spear, 1, 2, 3. Great timing and a kick out by Reigns. And then obviously Seth comes out again and distracts him. And Reigns picks up the win. Reigns was fantastic, brilliant into the show, picks up the mic, and then someone's music hit and no one come out. So
the best line in commentary I've heard for so long. And it's going back to Bobby Heenan days. That's how good it was. John Cena's back. Oh my God, John Cena's back. And then Pat McAfee goes, Where? Brilliant. Genius. I loved it.
Their partnership in terms of commentary, is next level.
Yeah.
And you know what makes it? And I've always liked Corey Graves when he used to little digs at Byron Saxton. I thought they were always funny. It reminded me of like a Jerry Lawler taking little digs at people, really funny. But to actually have just 2 people, no faces, no bad guys, no heels, no nothing, just 2 men watching wrestling, having a laugh, and that's what those 2 are, and it is so good. Yeah,
it is. It's good. I enjoyed it. Great to see Cena back. Is he winning it at SummerSlam?
I think he is. I think we had this. We had this conversation, didn't we? I think Reigns has not carried the company. That's an absolute lie. But he's done done wonders with his
Time for a
gimmick
break.
and whatnot. Yeah, the Thunderdome, get him off for a bit. Let Cena win the title.
Yeah.
Let him have that 17th title, and then let someone take it off him, make Reigns look bigger.
Yeah.
Comes back, takes it off him, make him look big.
Yeah.
All
ready for Rock and Reigns at Mania?
Yeah. Because you're not going to expect Reigns is not going to drop it. If he wins Cena, he's not going to drop it on. You said to me the other day, if he beats Cena, who else can take it off him? You can't lose. Beat Cena at SummerSlam, and then at the next pay per view, whatever that might be, Great Balls of Fire or whatever they're going to call it, Cyber Sunday. I don't care. Whatever they call it. And have, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like a Sheamus beating. It's just not gonna feel right.
No.
I know wrestling's not real in terms of like the hatreds and
I know what you mean.
Does.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna seem real.
I think that's what they've done with Reigns and Lashley to a degree as well. They've built him up to the point of then who's going to legitimately going to beat them. Yeah. Same with the streak. I think they mentioned Edge for the streak, and I was like, nah, it had to be Lesnar. Oh yeah, you would. I get that you would do, and it would have been a cool thing. Like, but at the same time, I didn't think Edge was legitimate enough to do it, whereas Lesnar is, and I don't see anybody on the main roster that's legit enough to beat Lashley or Reigns, except for Cena, except for Goldberg. So,
very quickly, because we've been waffling on for a bit. Cena on Raw, cracking promo. Some of my favourite lines ever. Michael Cole was very excited. Pat couldn't see me. Thought it was absolutely amazing. One of the best on them. Just one quick question. There's two things. One that's come out today. CM Punk apparently is signing with AEW.
Bollocks.
Always going to happen if he was coming back. That's the only place he's ever going to go back to wrestling.
Coming back to wrestling is coming back to WWE, mate.
No, it won't happen.
Well, they always go back.
I don't think. I think that one's the only one. I'm going to say it's the only one that you won't see. He's the only one who got fired on his wedding day. Let's be honest. I think that's a bit of something. And I just want to touch upon this guy. Here he is. What's going to happen with him? We've not seen him since Mania. It was a poor finish to his match at Mania.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with him.
Where did he go with him?
I don't know.
Have they ruined it? Have they ruined the gimmick of the Fiend?
I don't think they have. I think he's the type of character that they can make strong quite easy.
And I only say that because I remember watching his debut at SummerSlam. Wrestling debut. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. A couple of years ago now.
Yeah. So to this day, there's only one thing I still remember from. There's two things I remember from that pay-per-view. The first one was Edge coming out on the kickoff show. I think it was, and spearing Elias.
Yeah.
And just the pop, obviously, it was in Toronto, so it was always going to be a big pop. But that. And the second thing I always remember is a big shout out to Alex when the Fiend was coming out.
Link.
And he had the head and the music, and all I remember, because I was falling asleep on this chair, is him very loudly, because he doesn't do anything quiet, really loud, just really excited about everything he was doing. It was like, oh my god, I was like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Link loves wrestling. He loves it.
I was with him at Rumble. If you didn't know, I went last year. If you didn't know, I went last year. It's the proof. No, I'm not going to chair over there if you want more proof. But no, I think being with him through all that, I know what you mean, but it's always one thing I remember from the Fiend's debut is that. But I think they've Mania ruined it.
I don't think so.
I just think they ruined the whole thing at Mania when he got beat.
Nothing to stop him from coming back and being an absolute monster and steamrolling over anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's weird. I've not missed it, but at the same time, I kind of have a little bit. There's a space for him, I think.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong. When we started seeing the Firefly Funhouse stuff, and there was two things that was carrying Raw through that time. It was him doing all that stuff, and R-Truth for the 24/7 stuff. They were the two things that were carrying Raw at that point because it was hilarious. They were getting the most views. They had poor storylines at the Lashley and Lana stuff at the time, so it wasn't received the best. But you had all of that going on. Yeah, a guy with puppets was the best thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got a husker somewhere.
You have got a husker somewhere, haven't you?
Oh, where is he? Oh, I don't know where he is. I've got a huskers. He's somewhere. He's somewhere about, and I can't say anything about him because I got a bloody a title signed by Bray Wyatt.
You have.
I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. He's absolutely fantastic. Oh, and a tag belt signed by the New Day, but hey, I'm not kicking off here. Fantastic man, dead funny to me. The gimmick's amazing. I just hope they haven't ruined them.
They've not. I promise you, mate. They've not. Don't worry. He'll come back.
Maybe we need to show you. Maybe we need to show you a merch episode.
Yeah, that wouldn't last very long.
I know.
Got no left.
It's a YouTube short.
Cool.
No, but you know what? Really good pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Probably the right people did win. There's probably the odd one that I disagree with, but the right people won. Can't wait for the build to SummerSlam. Can't wait for SummerSlam. Just great to actually maybe see Cena. Sometimes I can't see him, but it'd be great to see. It's great to see him back on. He's doing, and you know what? People say what they want about him and part timers, but that man is coming back and not just appearing on Raw and SmackDown. He is doing house shows.
Yeah,
he's going all in, and that's a massive. He's probably the only part timer.
Expect anything different?
No, not at all. No. Well, it's in. You wouldn't anyway. I'd expect him to go all hands on deck, but it's when you see people, and he is a part timer. We know he is.
Yeah,
it's horrible to say, but he is.
Yeah.
But you see part timers. You see Goldberg come back. You don't go on house shows from now until SummerSlam. Lesnar, he never did any of that. Cena comes back, and yeah, he's doing all the house shows. Massive respect to him. Love the guy. I think he's fantastic.
Cool. Okay.
That's just my thoughts.
Right, that's fine. I agree. But as I say, you're not going to expect anything different from it. When he's in it, he's in it. When he's not, he's not. It's good to see him back.
And I think this is just to close closer to home. Obviously, they are coming back over. WWE, they are coming across the pond.
Okay.
In September.
Okay.
Now, do we see these people? Are we going to see? Is he going to stay? You know what I mean? What are they going to do? I don't think. Oh no, they are doing a Monday Night Raw. By the looks of it, it's got the O2, so they're doing Newcastle, London, Cardiff, and Glasgow. So they're doing 4 shows over here.
Oh. No Manchester or Liverpool.
No Manchester or Liverpool. Just doing 4 shows. Fans are going to be there because you can get tickets. I think they'll have something big to bring the thing. If I find out Edge is going to be at Monday Night Raw on the 20th of September, I will camp outside that place to see him live again.
You still have to buy a ticket yourself, Sad.
I'll be one of those weirdos. I won't really. I don't like that. See them in the hotel room. Hey. I'm not doing that. Don't like that.
Just stepped off the plane. Give me an autograph. Yeah.
Yeah. You just woke up. Hey.
Cool. Thank you very much, mate.
Been a pleasure.
Enjoyed that one. Hope you guys did too. And please do not forget to give us a like and a subscribe. Check us out on our Facebook page as well. And there'll also be links in the description to our mates over at Elite Wrestling Community and the Heel Project. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode. See you later, mate.
Later.